So today what we're going to take a look at in Phocas is 5 or 6 different examples that typical people do on a typical day within Phocas. We're going to look at 3 or 4 different databases: finance, sales, accounts receivable, stock, information, and we're going to see how we can use a simple dashboard to interrogate the data and slice and dice the information to get the required results. Now, just before we jump into that example, we're going to take a look at who Phocas is, where we've come from, and a bit of background to the business. So, who are we? We were founded in 1999 in the UK. The product has always been developed in Australia though. Currently it's developed in country New South Wales in Orange. We've had an Australian business since about 2003, launched in the US since about 2006, and worldwide we have about 1,000 customers so far. What is Phocas? Phocas is all about data discovery and analytics. Gone are the days that we want to look at static reports from our ERP system. We want to be able to get in and slice and dice and look at the data that we need to look at a specific point in time. Today might be something slightly different than what you want to look at tomorrow, which will be different to what you want to look at next week. So Phocas enables you to slice and dice that data quickly and easily when you need it. The solution is fully mobile, meaning that as long as you have a browser and internet connection, you can access Phocas. So tablets, iPhones, Samsung tablets, laptops, desktops, as long as there's a browser and an internet connection, you're fine. Multiple data streams. We can take data from multiple data streams. Typically, a lot of our customers will take it out of their ERP system, SAP in your case. That will then import into Phocas, and then we can build a database around that. Other people might want to incorporate things along the lines of information from third parties or from spreadsheets and that kind of thing. All that can be incorporated within a Phocas database. So multiple data streams. Over the past 12 months or so, we've had a bit of industry accolade, I guess you would call it. In the BARC survey, which is the world's largest BI software customer survey in 2014, we ranked top in 13 categories in this year, 2014. We've been recognised as one of the fastest growing tech companies by Deloitte, and in 2014 we appeared in the Magic Quadrant for Business Intelligence and Analytics Platforms from Gartner. You might notice some of our customers. These are our big name customers, people like Thermo Fisher, Repco, Brother, Philips, Fuji Xerox, etc. What you'll see is, as we go through this list, retail brands, various people like Waterford, Wedgwood, Yamaha, etc. All these businesses, as we go through, have one thing in common. They've got lots of data and they need to try and analyze this data and get that data to the relevant people as quickly and as easily as possible, with taking the burden away from an IT perspective, putting it on the end user to self-serve that information that they require. So you can see we're in various different industries: electrical and lighting, healthcare and scientific, building and hardware, plumbing and heating, etc. So what we'll take a look at now is Phocas itself. So I'm just going to jump into the database, and here we go. So what I can see is here, this is what we call our dashboard, and this is typically the jump-off point that most people will start using when they first log into Phocas. So I can see various different bits and pieces here. I can see lost customers, active customers, I can see finance information, expenses versus budget type things here, and then some stock information down the bottom here as well. So in the examples today, I'm going to put on various hats. So we're going to look at a finance manager or a CFO. In this case, we're going to look at a sales manager or a salesperson out on the road, and we're going to look at a stock manager or a warehouse manager, someone like that, and look at different bits and pieces and the different ways all the different databases that we've got here can join together to produce a very rich reporting experience. So Without further ado, let's jump in. So as I said, I'm going to look at the GL and the finance side of things to start with. So here's my finance dashboard section in the middle of the page there. I can see what we're looking at here is expenses versus budget information. I can see that we're up 4% on our expenses versus our budget. So we're a little bit over, not too much, but we should keep an eye on it. Expenses versus last year are up 2.18%, and our profit versus budget is doing fantastic. We're up 44.8% in terms of our profitability there in this case. The option that I'm going to look at today is expenses versus budget. I want to see a bit more detail around that. So I'm going to click on my little Analyze button, and it's going to take me into the actual database there now. What you can see, it's taking me straight into the database, and we're looking at our cost centers here, so operation, marketing, and sales in this case. Operations, we're doing quite well. We're under budget, about 1.6%. Marketing, we're flat. We're about 7,000 over, but that only equates to 0.13%. Where we've got an issue here is our sales cost center. We're over $747,000 above budget, or almost 16% in this case. So what we need to do is we need to go in and start interrogating this data to try and find out where we're actually going over budget in this case. So I'm going to highlight our sales. I'm going to click on my title account in this case, and now what we can see, these are all the accounts that are specific to my expenses area, specific to my sales cost center. So I can see here the various different areas where we're up and where we're down. I might want to click on my variance percentage column to see where I'm not doing so well, and instantly what we can see is that it's the marketing and general account here which is causing the issue. They're $200,000 above their budget, or 98% over. Now what's happened with that? Why are they up so much? Which specific accounts has it caused the issue? Which specific areas are we looking at there? So again, we drill down further into that data. By clicking on active account now, what we can see is we can now see exactly which accounts are affected. I can see which ones are up, I can see which ones are down, and really start to target exactly where I've got an issue. So we can see here in the marketing item expo option, we're about 10% over or 20% up on our budget. And if we scroll down the list, we can start to really see where we're up and where we're down on our budget in this case. So really easy, we can start to slice and dice this data to really get a feel for exactly what's happening in the business in the different cost centers that we're looking at there. Let me just reset that to start with, and we'll have a look at another example now. So the first example we looked at there, we were looking at profit and loss information, as you can see by the button that I've selected at the top there now. We've also in this database have a balance sheet breakdown, and we also have a trial balance and our budget information imported in here. So maybe what I want to look at in this case is some balance sheet information. So I'm going to highlight my balance sheet in this case, and now here's all my active accounts which belong on my balance sheet in this case. I might want to look at a draw, and what I'm going to look at in this case is some liabilities that I've got. I want to have a look at my holiday liabilities, and I want to see which cost center has got the biggest liability around the holidays area. So I'll click on my liabilities. I might click on my title account in this case, and we can see all our liabilities accounts that we've got listed there. And the one that I want to look at is my holiday pay. So I can really quickly, as a finance manager, select that and have a look at which areas we need to be careful of we're not accruing too many holidays. So if I click on cost center there, we can now see where we've got our liability. Operations is the biggest liability in our holiday pay area here of about $450,000 in this case. So very easily you can see, it doesn't matter what format we're in, profit and loss, balance sheet, anywhere we are within Phocas, we can always drill in and change and slice and dice that data to show what we need to show and to work out exactly what's happening within our business. Let's close that down. So we're back to our KPI dashboard. Obviously, one of the other KPIs, that a finance manager wants to monitor is outstanding debts. In this case, we can see at the top we've got a widget under our customer section which is showing outstanding debts over 60 days. In this case, it's $1.2 million, so it's quite a large amount there. Let's go in and zoom in on this. So again, I click on my Analyze button, Now what I want to do is try and have a look and see if there's a specific territory which is causing me an issue here. So at the moment you can see I've just drilled into the account area, and it's showing me all the accounts where we've got outstanding debts of greater than 60 days there in this case. I can have a look now at our territory. So if I click on my territory, we can now see exactly where we've got an issue, and you can see Western Australia here, 786,000. That sticks out like a sore thumb essentially. It's saying, look, this is the area that you really want to monitor because this is where you've got a lot of outstanding debts. I'm just going to click on my account option there now. So now we're only looking at accounts that are in WA. And I know that I've got a sales rep or a sales manager in WA who I can share this information with so he can start to chase down these debts. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to use my Save Favorite icon in the top right-hand corner there. We click on that little star. I'm going to click Save. Now it's going to give me the option to fill out the details. So I'm going to call this my WA debts. I'm going to say this is all customer debts greater than 60 days. In this case, as a little description. Now I know that Rick is the sales manager out there, so I want to give him access to the data. So I want to save this specific report and assign it to Rick as a specific user there. So I'm going to tick on Rick, and I'm just going to click Save there now. So now that report is saved. So what that's going to enable Rick to do is next time he logs into Phocas, he's going to be able to see that specific report, and he's going to be able to click on it, and it's going to show him the exact same data that we're seeing here in this case. So really easy. The various different finance functions all are catered for using a Phocas database here. Let's close that down now. So we're happy with finance. Let's move on to a sales area of the business. I'm going to put on my sales manager hat. We can see across the top there, we've got various different areas of the business that we wanted to take a look at. Lost customers, active customers, average value per invoices, average AR days greater than 60 like we just saw, and new customers in this case. Now the one that sticks out here is lost customers. I want to go in and see exactly who those lost customers are. So just like we did with the finance, we click on Analyze, and now it takes us into our sales database. So what this is showing me now is all the sales information based on that selection criteria that I've done. In this case, the lost customers report generates a report based on customers that haven't purchased from us within the last 3 months. So if you look on the right-hand side of the page there, you can see December, January, and February are all showing 0. So these are the customers that we've lost in this definition. You could obviously create that definition however you wanted to. Last 6 month sales, last 12-month sales are equal to 0. It's up to you, whatever you decide it to be. So now what we want to do is again start drilling into this data to try and find out what's happening here. I'm only interested in the Australian part of the business, so I'm just going to come down here to country at the bottom of the list there and click on my country, and now it's going to show me the different countries that I've got. I'm going to click on Australia, and again I'm going to pick on Rick because we need to have a look at him and make sure that he's looking after his customers correctly. So my sales rep of Rick, I can click on him, and then again I can pop up to my customer ship to location, and now here are all Rick's customers. If you look in the bottom right hand corner, you can see he's got 39 customers in this case that have stopped buying from us in the last 3 months. I can very quickly export this information out to Excel or PDF, etc. if I need from the top right hand corner there as well. Or alternatively, just like I did before, I could go in and save this as a favorite so he could click on that when he next logs into Phocas to have a look at exactly the same report that I've built here. So really, really easy, we can see that kind of thing. We can also then reset this and take a look at other different options that we've got within the sales database. Now, obviously, sales information is different to general ledger information that we looked at in the first example, or accounts receivable information, which we looked at in the second example there. So what we're looking at here is just a sales value. But if we click on our Measures button at the top of the page, obviously we've got a lot more information stored within a Phocas database. We've got the local currencies in terms of value, cost and profit, etc., quantities and number of invoices, etc. We've also got reporting values and costs and things like that to handle multiple currency reporting, so US dollar sales versus Australian dollar sales, those type of things we can handle quite easily within Phocas, and various other different bits and pieces here as part of a standard sales implementation. So if I wanted to see how profitable my customers were, all I need to do is double click on profit, and that's going to show me the profitability of those customers. I can also change the date range, so I might not want to look at it based on my rolling 12 monthly time frame, which I'm looking at here. I might want to take a look at it just at the financial year to date in this case. So you can see how easy it is to change between those different pieces of data that we're looking at there. Very, very simply. We might want to investigate a customer a little bit more as well. So there's a couple of different ways we could do that. We could click on the customer and then go and select and look at which products specifically they were buying. Or what we've got here is the ability to build an additional dashboard. We like to call it a customer scorecard, which is going to show you the key performance indicators, very customer related KPIs in this case. So if I click on ASAP Metalizing in this case and select customer scorecard, what we're going to see here now is various KPIs for the business as a whole, but also for that individual customer. So what we can see here, this is all customer performance monitors at the top. So average value per invoice is $961. Average value per invoice line is 343. Total number of active accounts here, I've got 1,561. What we can see down underneath here is for the selected customer, and you can see the selected customer just at the bottom there. The average invoice value for that customer is $1,850. The average value per invoice line is 444. So we're beating the company-wide performance for this specific customer considerably in this case. As we scroll down, we can start to see various other different bits and pieces around the customer, what the product mix is like, etc., etc. So very, very easy to build these dashboards and link them in to a customer to create what we call a customer scorecard in this case. So top 10 products increasing, and then down the bottom you've got your biggest decreasing products here as well. So very simple, we can interrogate a customer like that. Let's close that down and we'll jump back into our sales database now. Let's look at the idea now within sales of creating a promo. Maybe I want to have a look at all my customers that aren't buying a specific product range, but they're buying another product range which works well together. So what we can have a look at is, if we look at our subclass here, we want to try and find that link cell opportunity. Now the link cell opportunity I want to look at in this case is going to be LEDs versus transformers. We say that every time someone buys an LED light from us, they should buy a transformer to go along with that LED light. So I'll highlight both of those. I'll then click on my matrix button at the top of the page. That's going to take that information that we've got on the left, and it's going to put it across the top two columns on the right-hand side of the page there. Now simply, all I need to do is click on my customer ship to. Here's my LED column and here's my transformers column, and you can see simply how we're relating between those two columns. Again, we didn't change it from before, so we're still looking at profit, but as you know by now, we don't care really what we're looking at one specific report. We can always just quickly flick it to something else. So instead of profit, you might want to look at quantity in this case, so I'll change that to quantity in this example. And also what I might want to see is just customers who aren't buying any transformers. So I'm just going to right click in my transformers column, select where transformers equals 0, and what that's going to do is it's going to show me all my customers that are buying LEDs but not buying transformers. Now again, I could save this as a favorite, I could export it out to Excel. It's up to you what you do with this information from here. But very simply, that link cell opportunity just at the click of a button. So it's very, very sales centric as well. Let's close that down and let's look at our final example now. The The final thing we're going to have a look at is our stock information down the bottom. So what we can see there, we've got a series of stock KPIs. We've just got a simple stock on hand value down the bottom there, saying we've got $27 million worth of stock in our warehouse. We've got $3.4 million worth of dead stock. What I mean by dead stock is stock that we haven't sold in 12 months, but we've got stock of it in our warehouse. Low margin products, it's all products below 20% margin, greater than $20,000 worth of sales. And a low stock value here in this case is all our products that have got less than 1 month's worth of stock in our warehouse based on the last 12 months worth of sales. So the area that we're going to take a look at in this example is our dead stock report. I'm going to take that, I'm going to zoom into it as we see before. Click on that, and now we can see here's all those products and here's the stock on hand value for all those products there. Now you can see in this case we're in a slightly different database based on the dimensions down the left hand side here. So we have different things that we can look at in this case. Because also we're in a stock database, under the measures we've got much more stock centric information. So there's value in terms of dollar values, quantity sold, information, number of invoice lines. Then down the bottom here we can start to get into stock on hand, stock on order, stock in transit, back order, forward order type stuff. I might click on my quantity sold as well over the last 12 months there. So I'll click on all those, and now what we can see is we've built all that information up on one single interface for me. I can see all these products we haven't sold, but we've got stock on hand of them. So we obviously want to try and work out how we can get this stock out of our warehouse. The first thing we need to find out is which warehouse the stock is in. So just by clicking down on our warehouse option on the left-hand side there, I can click on that and I can see that Sydney has got the most stock in it. It's got $2 million worth of stock we need to try and get out of the database there now. So I'll highlight that. Then I might go and have a look at my specific subclasses now and say, okay, well, which individual product grouping have I got a lot of stock on in this case? Now, I might sort it by my stock on hand value column in this example so we can see where we've got a lot of stock, and it's low voltage and downlights in this case that we've got a lot of stock in there. So what I might do is I might look at my low voltage lighting in this case, highlight that, and then come through to our products that belong in that low voltage lighting area. So here's all our products. There's 66 of them again. If you look in the bottom right hand corner, that you can see that you're not selling, but you've got a stock on hand value for. So really easy. You can now slice and dice that stock to try and work out how you can move this out of your warehouse in this case. Okay, so that's stock information. Now that should give you a nice idea about how Phocas can fit in with your business. You can see it can take data from multiple sources and report on it in any which way you want, all controlled by the end user, moving away from that canned reports idea that you might have been used to in the past. So that concludes the demonstration. Now if you need any more information or anything like that, the best person to get in contact with is Daryl at MicroChannel. Here are his contact details, so have a chat with him. If you want to take your information that you've got within your SAP system and import it into Phocas and get a validation database happening as a demonstration purposes to you, please let Daryl know and he'll be the best person to speak to get the ball rolling on that specific task there. So thanks for your time today, guys, and we will speak to you soon.